Hey, what up, guys? I'm Kret. This is my cast. Welcome to Magic Rising, Session 6. Uh, Stuff has happened since the start of the show. People have been kidnapped. Uh, Nobody's died on screen.
Oh.
Well, NPCs have died on screen or on camera.
Oh yeah.
We
But
killed people.
no players, so that's good.
Yep.
And things are getting a little weird.
We've burned a lot of things. That's
Yeah.
important.
That's
I'm
true.
throwing stuff at things.
That's true.
We burn things on an episode basics as everything every time.
Did you burn anything last episode? You
I
tried.
burned someone's face.
Oh yeah, you did burn someone's face. Yeah, you did. Yeah. All right, there you go. I think you've burned something every episode. At least some bridges. Dio just burns everything. All right. So, when we left off the last two sessions, in both cases you were fighting somebody. One was a cement armored man, a man in a set of what would be full plate armor if it was made out of metal, but it was made out of cement. And a woman who was covered in tattoos and was using them to... She was sort of like shooting energy at you with them.
I don't remember how we ended the second one. I know we Deus Ex Machina the first one, the cement guy with the serpent.
Yeah.
And then we all forgot what happened. And then I have no idea what happened with the second one, actually. I don't remember.
The same thing. So it's
Oh,
good job not
okay.
remembering. Yeah, in both
Going
cases,
well.
something called
Thank you.
an Atom Serpent. I think it's an Atom Serpent. Sort of just streaked across the sky and just sort of like wrapped around everyone and then just fade to black. Holy shit, does that man host? Alright.
Oh, we're gonna have viewers for once. Yes.
Yeah, this will be interesting. So, anyway, let's get down to business. In both cases, you fade to black. In the past. In the present, you wake up, and, you're here.
Do we have any idea what happened, by the way, or do we wake up memoryless again?
That's how it starts, man. You wake up and you're here.
I know, I'm just asking, like, do our characters remember what happened, or are they, like, mind
Your
wiped?
characters remember what you remember. Yeah.
Okay.
Alright.
Not this shit again.
Anything
Where
close
are
here?
we?
Are we in a pet store?
You're in a workshop. There's a variety of tools, woodworking tools, saw blades. I mean, literally, like, what you see is what you get. It's a workshop.
So it's either a workshop for some carpenter dude or for a psychopath.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic.
Probably the psychopath,
Well,
but
pet's running, I guess.
Probably.
yeah.
Knowing our luck, that psychopath will probably be a semi-god.
Well, you know what they
With
say.
turtles.
Jesus was a carpenter.
Ah. Is anyone else around? Can we, like, look around, see if there's anybody?
You look around. It's one room. There's a door. The windows are like, there are windows, but they're sort of blacked out, and there's just sort of stuff in the way, like stuff covering them, like machinery and boards, stuffing in the walls, tools, etc. There's a door.
Everybody
wood-paneled
okay?
door. And it's a handcrafted door too. You can tell.
Important. Everybody okay?
Yep. I'm fine.
Hey, and Albatross is with us this time.
Hey. I teleported here magically.
Like everybody else here. Yes.
Yeah.
Should we get out? I don't feel very comfortable here. There are too many saw blades for me.
Yep, I agree.
Okay, gonna try to walk outside. Is the door closed?
The door is currently closed. Yeah, it's not an open door.
Can I try to push the door open? Like, sort of gently.
I mean, you gently push the door and it resists. Like, there's a handle.
Can I use the handle?
You
I
put your
assume my
hand on the
character
handle.
is,
The
like,
handle is
retarded.
warm.
Warm
There's a
burning
fire.
or just...
Just warm.
Oh god, what have we got ourselves into this time? There's either fire on the other side of the door, or it's like summer in the Bahamas and we're again on the other side of the world or something. Any ideas? Should I knock this shit down? Or do I just...
Can I like use my heightened senses to listen and smell around and stuff?
Yeah, sure. How many
There's
points in heightened senses do you have?
I think 2. I'm not sure though. Let me double check. Okay, so heightened senses are at 3 points.
Heightened senses at 3 points. If you spend 1 point of will, if you spend 1 point of will, you could, like, smell stuff. And for 3, I'll give you, like, smell stuff. And for 3, I'll give you, like, any whirl. As in, like, AUR.
I will use one.
Okay.
One will.
Alright, so you use 1 will. And, so you listen, and you don't really hear anything. You also don't really smell anything either, but you know that you don't smell smoke.
Alright, so nothing potentially harmful is piquing my...
Yeah, you
my
don't smell anything. You don't smell chemicals, you don't smell smoke, you don't smell stuff that's like when you smell it and you're like we're in trouble. You don't smell burning bodies, so that's good.
That's a start.
Absolutely nothing
There are a
relevant.
lot of things that you don't smell. You do smell
Okay.
sawdust because you're in a carpenter shop.
That is
Alright.
also a good sign.
Yeah.
Alright.
Try the keyhole.
Well, yeah. The keyhole. Oh, okay. My heightened senses with my sight. I don't think my sight will go very far through a keyhole, though.
Yeah. Okay.
But if you
So
try, I'm gonna try that.
you kneel down, you stick your eye up to the keyhole, you look through, and you're blinded by light.
Alright, so absolutely no idea what is going on, guys. I'm getting blinded from all sides, so our only option is to just see for ourselves what's on the other side.
Yeah, you just know that what's on the outside is like bright.
Anyone wants to try to knock?
Knock. Alright, I'll do that. I don't know if... There you go, he knocked.
You knock on the door, there's no response.
You know what? Fuck this. I'm gonna use. I have 2 in athletics. How much would I need to knock a door down? Like 3?
Yeah, probably 3.
Alright, so I use 1 point.
Yeah.
And just
So,
kick the door back.
and just looking at the difficulties in will chart, right? Like, 3 is to do something correctly and impress the people around you, right? So, like, I feel like a police officer is the sort of person who, without really exerting himself, could correctly kick down a door. Right? So I'd
Yeah.
say, like, kicking down a door is probably a 3.
Okay, so I think, let me just check. Yeah, I have 2 in athletic. I guess like 1 more point would do. Like,
Alright,
I
yeah.
use 1.
Yeah, you spend 1 point of will, you give the door a kick, and it busts open. It sort of, like, busts off its hinges a little bit. And, you look outside, and you see this.
Oh god, here we go again.
Okay, so we're pretty much in the middle of nowhere, it would look like.
A jungle.
I did say Amazon or, Bahamas or some shit like that, didn't I? I did. I did say that.
Let's say Bahamas.
Okay.
Okay, so what the hell brought us here this time? So, like, I guess we can spread out and look around, see if we find any signs of human civilization anywhere.
Okay, so you're gonna look for, like, other people, signs of civilization,
Anything.
etc.
Yeah.
Can I like get in a tree and look around?
Sure. What would you use to climb the tree?
Our hands, I assume.
Well, I mean, what skill?
Oh,
Sorry.
I can't use bonds for this, right?
What would your bond be? What would be applicable?
I cannot fail at climbing a
Okay,
tree.
yeah, so, like, sure. So let's talk about how you'd apply that. You'd be like, I'm gonna climb this tree. And, um, I guess the way I'm gonna, how many points do you have in I cannot fail?
2.
Alright, so let's say that, like, in order to climb a tree, it would be 3, but because you can't fail, you're just gonna drop it to a 2. Like the will that you would spend to climb a tree just goes a little bit further. Because you're
Alright,
so determined to get to the top of this tree. It will
let's
not
go.
stop you from achieving
I
your
will
goals.
survive. Yeah.
Alright, so yeah, you can spend 2 points of will to climb a tree.
You mean the like default 2 points that are in my bond? Or just 2 points straight up and I go down to 5 points?
Yeah, you would go down to 5. Because you still have to spend will to climb a tree, and you still don't, like, you don't have skill in climbing.
Okay, let's hope this pays out. 2
Alright.
points of will. Let's go up a tree.
Alright, you climb up the tree, you use your heightened senses, you look around, and you see a little clearing in the distance. Sort of like a grove, right? Like the trees form a circle around this area. The ground is dirt. But it's sort of like manicured dirt. There's no weeds, there's no plants, there's no growth. It's just from what you can see up there, it's just brown, right, with no interruptions of any kind. And there are circles. There's like trees surrounding this. The forest breaks, and there's a circular grove.
Okay, is it a perfect circle? Like something that's not coincidental?
It looks
Would I
perfect
think
to
it's
your
not
eye.
coincidental?
So it's
Alright.
man-made. Or...
It doesn't look like this would just happen in a forest, right? Like there's forest, and then there suddenly isn't, and there's a circle of not forest.
Are there
Alright.
any marks on it, or does it just look like a circle?
From the height that she's at, she can't really see anything.
Okay.
Yeah, just dirt.
Alright.
What do your elf eyes see?
My elf eyes, I climb down and I tell you guys about what I saw. I saw this nigh perfect circle in the forest, basically only dirt, and it looks a bit too perfect for it to occur naturally. So it's up to you if you want us to check it out.
I'm
I
the
told
party
you-
leader now.
Oh, isn't it a democracy?
You said no. You said it's up to you. Who?
Yeah, you guys, you people. You.
I didn't find anything when I went out to look, so let's go with that. But that's her only lead.
As good as opportunity as any.
All right, you guys head towards the circle. Illyria guides the way, and on the ground in the dirt, you can see there are like intentional scratch marks. There are like lines in the dirt.
Do they have any kind of design?
Yeah, you don't know what it is, but yeah, it's a design.
Can we like? We haven't seen it before. This is not a design that was in the papers that I collected like 7 years ago, and
It's not completely dissimilar. Like, it looks like the same sort of thing, but it's not the same.
this look. You guys think this could be one of Julian's circles?
What use would he have for one here, though? Is it a ritualistic one? Did he just come here for peace and quiet and then just upgrade to New York parks?
Yeah, it's his recreational room.
Well, to recap, we have no idea what any of this is. That's basically the recap.
Yes, that's basically it. Okay, I'm gonna use like a level 3 pyromancy. Just to sort of
okay.
I have level 4, so I don't spend anything.
Yeah.
Just to sort of see if it triggers anything. Sort of like set a fireball in my hand and sort of wave it around the circle. See if it triggers anything.
Okay, yeah. You're just holding fire and like moving around the circle.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah, I guess you can sort of like pull and almost see the fire getting pulled out of your hand. Not like really pulled, but more like wisps of it are moving in the direction of the center of the circle.
Not being vacuumed, but attracted.
Yeah, yeah. Like a spark falls off, and instead of falling to the ground like a spark usually would, it just sort of dances its way towards the center of the circle.
All right, so for us to not dig up the center of the circle, can I do the same thing Proxy did or Dio did, and sort of like make little worms out of my shadow summoning skills, and send them into the ground and make them a level 4 maybe, so that they're, what does level 4 mean? Do something effective.
Yeah, so what are you trying to do with them? Like, what's your intention?
Scout. I'm mentally linked to this stuff.
Okay, so you're trying to figure out, like, what's going on with the circle.
Yes.
Okay, so I guess, what does it look like when you create these shadow worms?
Sort of just put my hand, almost hover it, like crouch, and hover my hand above the ground, and they just sort of, a ball of like darkness forms in the palm of my hand, and the worms sort of like detach from it.
Okay, yeah,
That's gonna
and
be fun at parties.
they sort of like drop out of your hand and land on the ground and sort of burrow in. And you know that they're burrowing towards the center of the circle, and they're sort of detecting the dirt in whatever way that worms do with their senses. I mean, magical worms do, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you sense that this circle, whatever it is used for creation.
All right.
It creates things.
You wanna power it up, see what happens?
You wanna what?
Power it up, see what happens. Like, rest of the party, what do you think? You're all quiet.
I don't really have anything to help out in this situation. All I have is like hyper focus and architectural knowledge. And since
Yeah,
we're in
but
the middle of a jungle.
You can still have an opinion on what's going on.
Well, if it's meant to create something, do we know if it's living or not? Like a living thing, something not living, no clue.
Could be a dragon.
Could be
Well,
we
well,
can
it
try.
needed, oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Do we have any knowledge of how to like create anything? Well, is there any way we can replicate the process of creating something and understanding what it's coming from?
I was thinking of using the age-old process of throwing fire at it and hope something works.
Well, it might work because since it like pulled your fire in, I imagine that
Exactly.
all things that get created need heat, they need light, and they need water.
I
And
mean,
since your fire got pulled in, I don't know. We might.
My thought process is that it sort of it seems to be attracting the fire, so it might be some sort of battery that's sucking up power. So if I give it enough, might trigger whatever the hell is going on. I don't know.
I mean, Arena, you can use shadows, right? Maybe if we make a combination of the two or something to that extent.
All right,
Worth a
so
try.
I guess I could put like a little mass of shadow in the center and see if Proxy's like power does anything to it.
Drop a
Okay, so
fireball
you
on
like
it.
put like an orb of shadow in the center of the circle?
Yeah.
Okay, what level of shadow magic is this?
I'd say my max. I'd say
Okay.
I'd put a like relatively concentrated amount of like shadow magic in there.
Okay,
Shadow
so
orb.
what is that, level 5?
5, yeah.
Yeah, let's go with 5.
Okay. And Proxy, what level of magic are you using to charge the circle?
4, I'm not gonna exert myself. I just want to see if this actually works. I'm gonna
Okay.
put a level 4 like fireball on top of it, like basically just floating and just let it drop gently on top of the whole thing.
Sure. Albatross, are you doing anything as well?
I'm gonna put a little bit of fire on there with him, but just 2, because that's all I have without using will.
Okay, so yeah, you help him charge the fire. So there's an orb of shadow sort of hovering slightly above the ground in the center of the circle. And above that, maybe 3 feet, is a much larger orb of fire that is sort of spitting and sputtering, and the fire is that pops out of this orb is just trailing its way into the ground, and eventually that orb depletes itself. And as the fire is coming out and landing on the ground, it sort of catches and it lights and it stays, and then the fire spreads around the circle throughout all the lines and to the center, and then the shadow orb in the center, like, I guess flutters, right? Like it vibrates a little bit, and then
Like
just sort of
pulsating?
yeah, and then it just sort of pops, and the fire goes out.
Well, it did
And
something.
in the center of the circle is a little, what looks like a marble.
I'm gonna go pick that up.
You go pick up the marble?
Yeah.
Okay. You go pick up the marble. You make sure not to step on the previously burning lines in the dirt. And you pick up this marble. It's cold to the touch, to the point where it sort of burns your fingers a little bit. Like it's too cold. It's painful, and so you
Like
touch it,
dry
and you're
ice?
just sort of like, ah, yeah, dry ice is basically the way to do it. So you go to pick it up, but then you like, your fingers come back.
Can I try to warm it up with fire?
Like the orb?
The little marble.
Yeah, but what does it look like? What properties does it have other than it's solid?
Is it heavy? Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it heavy?
Well, I
Is it
mean, he doesn't know if
swirly?
it's
Is it
heavy because
colored?
he didn't really pick it up.
Oh, okay.
I bitched out.
Yeah, you just sort of touched him. It's like, ah. But it's dark, and it's sort of swirling. There's sort of like a dark moving swirl inside this little marble.
Cool. We created a little ball of inconvenience.
Now, this is gonna be really nerdy, but this reminds me of an episode of Digimon Fusion I watched with my nephew.
All right.
Moving on.
Digimon.
I can see Kret feeling insulted by that reference.
Yeah.
But
So
Digimon.
But that's none of my
Digimon
business.
Fusion, not Digimon. Come on.
Oh,
Digimon
sorry.
Fusion. That's fine. All right. So yeah. I mean, so what do? Are you gonna try and heat it up, or what?
I
Does
guess
anybody have a rag?
I just use my sleeve to pick it up, basically.
All right, sure. You walk in, you use your sleeve to pick it up. It's cold through your sleeve, but it doesn't bother you too much. You are now holding a thing through your sleeve. It is a little orb. The shadows like move and dance within it.
So it seems kind of like not alive, but at least reacts to what's happening around it.
Hey, honey, I think we had a baby.
Oh,
That's
God.
absolutely hideous.
It's kind of too tiny, too.
So I guess we've got
Wouldn't
nothing to
survive
really
in
do.
society.
Mess around with it and just see if anything we do changes something in it, where it can lead us on, or maybe we should just take it as a memento and keep moving.
How heavy is it?
Where?
It weighs about as much as a marble.
All right. Can I conclude in any way, since it was my shadow magic and I'm mentally linked to it? Can I conclude anything about the ball?
You're not mentally linked to it anymore. Like, there's a barrier. You're like, oh, mental link, and it's just like, nope, and you're like,
Okay, that.
And
could
you
say
probably do
something
that a
about
few
it.
more times because you don't like to give up, but it just, there's no link.
Useless.
So I know now that whatever sort of circle this magic does counteracts, like, I don't know, sort of weeds out what it doesn't like about the magic, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Or it isolates you at least.
Yeah.
Can we try putting it in water, or see if it sinks, if it floats, see how it's like, how it reacts to that kind of stuff? To just give it a shot.
Let's have chemistry class.
Sure, I
If
mean,
someone can dig
from
me
where
a
you
hole-
exited the cabin, there was a pond.
All right, so we'll just like drop the marble there and see how it reacts. Maybe once it touches water, it disappears or turns into something entirely different.
So you just drop the marble in the pond?
Yeah.
All right, I'm assuming you're dropping it in like the shallow area of the pond, and
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
not
yeah.
like throwing it into the center.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean,
that's
I
nothing.
think Theo would like to do that. He does
Probably,
have a
yeah.
habit of throwing rocks at things.
All right, you
No, but it's not a living thing. It's not fun.
you drop the marble into the water, and the moment it hits, like out from where the marble hits, instead of I guess the ripples that you would expect from dropping something into a pond, just waves of shadow and darkness start to spread throughout the water. They eventually dissipate, much like smoke in the air, but like it just starts releasing these waves of roiling shadow.
Does someone want to swallow it?
I'm
No.
not looking at Albatross.
I'm sorry, I spit, I don't swallow.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
R-rated
Sorry,
3,
that's
boys.
Albatross's character. I'm sorry.
Anyways. I'm gonna do the incredibly ill-advised thing and touch the water.
Yeah, you touch the water. Shadow batters your hand, but I mean, is your intention to touch the water, or is your intention to grab the marble?
I just touched the water.
Yeah, you pull your hand away because it hurts. It's very cold and it's moving very quickly.
So now we lost the marble.
It's a cold sort of hurt.
Can I throw a little fire at like a little sparkle of fire? See?
Yeah,
what it
you
does?
throw like a little sparkle of fire and like
I'm experimenting. Shut up.
the shadow moves away from the fire and then eventually gets like absorbed. Like it's sort of like throwing like a baseball into a pile of sheets that you just took out of the dryer, right? Like the sheets move back, but eventually they absorb the baseball.
Okay.
I think
don't know
we
why that was my
severely
metaphor.
underestimated this marble, guys.
Hmm.
Severely underestimated it.
Does anybody have a rag?
I can do some other shadow magic stuff, but I don't know how.
I mean, I guess Albatross would be
But
willing
since-
to take his shirt off to pick up the marble with it.
Of course he
He
would.
has to.
Are you
And
gonna do
wink
that?
at well,
Yeah, I
we
guess
can
so.
get Deliria.
Yeah. So Albatross, you take your shirt off. You like sort of cover your hand with it.
He doesn't flex?
Well, not yet.
He probably
disappointed.
is planning to flex on
Oh
the
my
other
God.
side. And you just sort of like, do you reach in slow or fast? Are you gonna
Pretty
go for
fast.
like the bam, or are you gonna go like?
I'm going to grab it.
All right, you just reach in and you grab it, and you pull it out real quick. And in your hand, like your shirt is like tattered and like messed up, and there's just sort of a rag in your hand that is covering the marble, so it is protecting you, but like the rest
But
of
I
your
don't
shirt
have a
is
shirt
just like
anymore.
holes and like it has
Don't
been
worry about
battered.
it. It's designer fashion now.
I
Mm,
mean, I think
postmodern.
this helps Albatross, to be honest, him not having a shirt anymore. I'm going to be honest.
Appreciate your honesty.
So what can we do with this? It's a marble. It screws things up, but we don't know where we are.
Mm. So, does
Keep
anyone
moving.
have any weapons whatsoever? I mean, how deadly, how unsuccessful trying to crush this marble is? Would it be like Lord of the Rings Gimli trying to destroy the ring, unsuccessful?
I mean, nobody's tried.
Exactly. May I?
Let's go.
Go
I'm
right
gonna-
ahead.
Attempt number 1, I'm gonna grab the marble inside the shirt
Yeah.
and then slam it as hard as I can against the nearest tree.
All right, you slammed a marble against a tree. The marble, it
Nothing.
doesn't break. Like you hit a tree.
Does
with
it react in any way?
Uh, Yeah, actually, it sort of like blasts, I guess, the tree, and like your hand gets knocked back. Uh, it hurts a little bit, but not like even a surface wound, really.
More like
Uh,
a really hard slap sort of thing.
yeah, exactly. Your hand stings, and the tree just has like little remnants of shadow that are sort of like eating away at it a little bit, and eventually they just fizzle out.
Well, that was wildly unsuccessful.
Are we able to use the circle again, or did it disappear?
No, it's still there. I mean, it's carved in the dirt.
We can like try the same thing again and see if it makes another marble, or maybe like a new object. Maybe it's like a piece of a puzzle.
I mean, I could put in a different element into the shadow
Yeah.
ball.
Exactly.
We could try that.
And you
All
have
right.
fire in it, and it's extremely cold.
I think it's time to put
We
water in it.
I was gonna say we put fire and shadow and it became incredibly cold. So what if we try the opposite? What if we try ice and fire, for example, or ice and shadow or something like that?
I will use my eyes.
Okay. We're back
'Cause
in the
I am very cool.
This time, no level 6 spells, please. This marble is too OP for me.
Please nerf high res.
Okay, so you return to the circle. What are you guys doing? How are you approaching it?
Same way we did last time, you know, the
Yeah, I guess. Other than the
combination
fire
of the
part.
elements and shadow.
Yeah, so which elements do you use? Like, what do you do?
Albatross?
Well, I'll put in some ice above everything.
Okay, so you I guess you create a ball of ice like hovering
Yeah.
above the circle.
And I'll use one will for it, so it's level 3.
Okay, level 3. Got it.
What do you want
And-
more?
And mine will be a level 3 as well this time, not a level 4.
All right,
It
so
will-
just another ball of shadow in the center.
Yes.
Okay, you charge it up. The ice, like the ball of not really a ball of ice, but a ball of frost is hovering above a ball of shadow in the center of the circle. Flecks of snow are sort of dripping off of the ball, and eventually they drip down to the ground. They end up landing in the lines on the dirt. They fill the lines, and the shadow ball starts to once again vibrate. And then the shadow ball pops, the lines go out. Actually, it would be more like the frost seeps into the dirt and you don't see it anymore. And in the center is once again a small marble.
Shall we walk over to this marble?
I can try and pick it up this time. I'll use my own shirt.
Okay, so you just pick it up with your sleeve.
We're gonna
Yeah.
end up all naked, full of marbles, I suppose.
All right,
And that's
you
how they find us.
So
You
mean
pick
we're
up
not
the
gonna be
marble with
wearing
your
any clothes and
sleeve.
We're going to be holding a bunch of balls.
you pick up the marble with your sleeve. It is very heavy and incredibly cold.
Like colder than the other one beforehand.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's oppressingly cold. You're in
Alright,
fact a
so
little
even
bit
with my
sad.
sleeve on. Okay. Hey guys, nothing really worked. Nothing really happened. It's kind of the same thing as before, except it's much colder and much heavier. Where do you want to take it from here?
Well, the amount of magic you use seems to be affecting the manageability of this marble.
Thinking.
What happens if it? Go ahead.
What
If
happens
it
if
comes
what?
in contact with the other marble.
That's what I was thinking. In the middle of the circle, maybe? Why not?
Yeah.
So what?
So we'll put the two together.
How do you do this?
All right. Is in the center? Could there be like two little holes for like perfect?
Yeah, I
fits
mean,
for the marbles?
you can
Now,
just
Keith.
put the marbles in the dirt, I guess, next to each
I
other.
say we throw them like Pokeballs.
throw them like Pokeballs, see what happens.
Go,
Yeah.
incredibly weird ball of something.
Let's
Throw
not
into
make
the
them
pit.
like really hit each other though. Let's just carefully place them next to each other
Okay.
Ah.
and make them tenderly embrace Okay. One
So
of my
I
bodies.
guess you just sort of put them down next to each other and like gently roll one closer to the other until they touch, and they just sort of pop and move back. And it seems like the first one is the one that made the pop happen.
Hmm.
So they just pushed each other like magnets?
No, it's more like they touched and one of them went and they like a tiny explosion, I guess.
Okay.
Hmm. All right. Well, does this feel like a waste of time to anyone else?
Yes.
Marbles.
Brings
Marbles.
me back to my days of collecting Bakugan.
Maybe at some point we'll need to, win a game of marbles against a champion magician to tell us where we are, because I have no fucking idea what's going on.
Me neither. And I am becoming increasingly tempted to just swallow the marble to see if it helps us in any way.
I don't imagine how that's gonna happen, but I wouldn't advise it given that you can't even touch it.
Yeah.
Unless you swallow it with a shirt, which is even worse an idea, I think.
I don't think she wants to swallow my messed up shirt.
I
So
don't
you-
think so either.
Do you guys want to just stay here and make marbles all day, or should we move on and walk?
Was there any clue in the tool shed?
I mean, you just sort of were like, "Oh, we're in a carpenter shed," and then you left. So
And it's just a random
Walk
building
around
in
and
the
look,
middle of
though. He did walk around and look, though.
in the carpenter shed.
No, I guess we just sort of looked around casually.
Yeah, I don't think
Let's go
anyone
back then.
like inspected it at all. All right, you guys return to the carpenter shed.
Bring the marbles in the shirts and whatever.
Oh, well, that is a lot of things to investigate. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, you walk back in. You look around, and I guess upon closer inspection, there's sort of like a little ladder, or like a little step ladder that leads up to a little. It's like next to the top of a desk, and there's a few drawers, and at the top there is a little man sleeping.
How little are we speaking?
Like about 5 feet tall.
Okay, so we're not talking
No, it's
gnome,
not
you
a.
know?
No, it's just short.
Okay. With my typical diplomacy, I'm gonna run up the thing and just sort of poke him.
Yeah.
Hi.
He wakes up and goes, "Oh, hello. Yes, you're here. You're awake."
Where is here?
My workshop.
But where is your workshop situated in the world as a whole?
Or not
Not
the
in
world
the
at this point?
universe. I just meant planet Earth, really. Don't tell me in the universe, please. Just
Why
tell
not
me.
be planet Earth at this point?
Oh my god.
Assume that.
You're here. You're in.
The Bahamas.
We're friends. I'm Henry. Nice to meet you. And he like offers his hand for
Oh,
you to
it's
shake.
the snake dude, right?
Yeah,
Henry.
yeah.
Okay.
He's in his human form.
Yes, Henry. But where is? Okay, you know what? Never mind. You brought us here, right?
Yes. Well, you needed to be brought here.
Okay. Continue the story from there. Why did you need to be brought here?
I figured it was helpful.
In what way? How?
Well, you looked like you were having trouble.
With what? What is the purpose of us being
Those
here?
people.
Okay. I'll admit we were fighting, and that might be misconstrued as a problem. But I was melting people and trying to get an answer. We don't
And I was
have answers here. You see the problem?
You have some
I think
answers
you
here.
upset Dio. He really likes to melt people.
You
I
have
do.
some
I
answers
really
here.
Okay, which answers do we have here?
Well, you've got 2 of them.
He didn't ask how many. He asked
Okay, which ones?
one.
Those 2.
What-
And he
which-
points to whoever's carrying the marbles.
Huh? What are those then? We
The
real
marbles.
What are those?
Oh my
Henry.
god.
Henry, you are fucking with my head, mate.
Henry, what did you
What
smoke
what
today?
can we use the marbles for?
Um,
Other than
he like puts out his hand. I guess he like gets up and like hops off the desk and like stands and puts his hand out to whoever's holding the marbles. And he puts them both in his hands, and you can see like a little like barrier of fire underneath the first one, and actually underneath both of them. Just there's like a little flame resting underneath them between the marble in his hands, and he says, "Well, this one is shadow fire, and this one is shadow frost." And
That's very
Yeah.
helpful. Thank you.
that's that's what
How
it
can
is.
we use them to our advantage?
Well,
Or
you could
for
use this
anything.
one anywhere you would need shadow fire, which is very good for.
Let's move on from that insult.
I think I know what I can use it for. I'm getting some ideas, especially because it concerns fire. But how do we trigger them? We tried smashing them, throwing them in water, like...
I think
Did you put magic
Shadow
into
Flame
that?
kind of like a nuke? Because I remember you telling us we needed some nukes.
Well, we can make like a ghetto staff with them and like point them at things and see if it works. I don't know. I'm desperate at this point.
He just sort of like, I guess he takes the shadow frost one off of his hand and holds it in his left, and in his right hand he just sort of like, actually no, he can't. He wouldn't do that. He would hold the shadow frost one in his left hand, and he puts his hand towards Dio and says, "Here, hold this."
To me?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm holding
And
it. I'm...
he tells you to like, no, just fire.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm gonna create like a small fire shield in my hand to grab it.
Yeah, and he says, "Okay, now put more fire into it."
I throw some more fire at it, something like a level 2.
And yeah, sure. And like the blaze that would go, like a level 2 fire in your hand would be like a little blaze, and instead of that, it just goes into the bottom of the marble and comes out of the top into this like shadowy fire.
So it's like a magnifying glass of magic.
Mm-hmm.
Does this work with any magic?
Hmm?
Cool. That is important, actually. Thank you, Henry. Now,
He gives you a thumbs up.
completely out of character, but do you remember what questions we asked him last time? I know we asked him several questions,
I don't
and he was
recall.
gonna... Okay.
He was talking about the VCR lady and stuff. I
Oh
don't know.
yeah. He was. He definitely was doing that.
VCR lady. I'm lost, VCR lady.
Actually, I think he would say, well, are you saying anything, or is that just over the table?
Well, I would like to ask about the circle.
Oh, yeah, he says, yeah, that's a circle of creation.
Who put it there?
I did.
If you know. Okay.
Idiot, yeah. Where are we right now, Henry? Is it in the real world?
No,
or
we're
did
in
you
my
move this?
chancel.
Okay. I thought so.
Mm-hmm. Creation is strong here, that's why you could do that with so little effort.
Is the circle of creation limited to marbles?
Mm-mm. You just made a marble.
But what is it influenced by? Oh, sorry.
Well, did you try making anything other than a marble?
Huh.
Mm-mm.
So maybe if I give my shadow a different form than an orb.
Yes.
He
I have
nods.
a good idea.
At this point, I think Dio just runs out to the circle. Like, not even telling anyone, it just runs to the circle.
Go with
Sure.
him. Very
Do
Alright.
you guys follow? Do you guys stay there?
I follow
I run right beside
because
you.
I have the same revelation as you, basically, and I'm like, let's go.
Alright. This is gonna be difficult. Olivia, can you make me a handle?
A handle. What do you want it to look like? Is it like a door handle or?
No, imagine like a sword or a spear handle. Like this big.
Yeah,
A
sure.
hilt?
I can do that.
Hmm.
All right. I do that for you. I place it in the center of the circle, and I give you a nod.
Alright.
What level of shadow magic are you using?
Well, now that I've had the revelation that this circle is in fact extremely useful, I'm going to go with a level 5, which is my maximum.
Okay, but you're not expending any will.
No.
Okay.
None.
Yeah,
Handle.
you create the handle with a level 5, and so you can sort of see it. It's just the shadowy reflection of a spear or a sword. Were you gonna go for?
Make it a spear.
Okay,
I make it really pretty too. A lot of ornaments and stuff.
sure.
Make it sort of longish because I'm gonna need that.
Long?
it
Do you
needs
want
to
it
be long for
slim
Dio.
or
Yeah.
like?
Slim and long.
It needs
Yes.
lots of girth.
Okay, I'm gonna use 2 will
Okay.
to make a level 6 sort of a not necessarily just a spear tip, but more of a blade, but more of
Uh-huh.
a
It's like a glaive.
like the size of my arm,
Okay.
like the length of my arm, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and I sort of attach it to the tip of the spear rod thingy.
Sure. Yeah, I guess the circle starts to charge with the fire from the tip. And well, no, actually no, the circle doesn't do anything.
Okay, I'm looking back to Henry, pointing to the thing and like,
Albatross, can you like put an orb of something above our little contraption?
You know
I think
what?
this is gonna turn it into an orb.
Oh no.
No, I won't put an orb. I'll put the perfect thing for you guys. A connector of ice.
A what?
Like a
Connect.
little circle of ice to connect
Huh.
the two. Freeze
Ah,
them together.
Okay. Yeah, so you do that. What level of ice?
I'll use 1 will again to get it 3.
Okay. Sure, you do that. And so the ice once again fills the rings of the circle. The spear starts to vibrate, and it sort of then pops, and on the ground is a spear. Its tip is copper colored, and its haft is slim and black. You're standing about 10 feet away.
I'm gonna gently try to pick it up.
Sure, you gently try to pick it up. You can feel the grain of the not exactly wood. And you feel it's not smooth.
But can I pick it up? It's not like incredibly cold or anything.
No.
Alright. I pick it up. I'm gonna swing it around a couple of times to try it, away from anybody's face.
Sure. You swing it around a couple of times to try it, and each swing leaves an arc of fire in the air, but you can also feel the stability of the haft of the spear is like it shudders with every swing. And the tip is like every time you swing it, there's a trail of fire.
I like this.
You're
Anybody else
welcome.
want something while we're shopping?
I do.
Are
Make
we
the
making
recipe.
weapons?
So I would like a shadow, like a bow shape from you, if you could, Illyria.
All right, sure. Level 5 again? Or actually, no, a bow has to be a bit more. You'd have to invest a bit more in a bow because it has to have all the like.
Flexibility?
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, do you know how to use a bow?
Yes, my guy is a ranged weapon expert guy.
Oh
That is
yeah.
a
Oh yeah, he
skeleton.
is. Oh, all right.
That's why I said
Useful.
bow.
Sweet.
I don't know what I'm talking about.
What about the arrows?
That's where I come in. I will use
Okay.
4 will to make a level 6 of electric arrows.
Okay. Sure. Yeah, well, I mean, make a quiver,
Basically,
I suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Magic quiver.
Okay, and then Illyria, are you making the bow?
I will spend I will spend one more will to make it a level 6, so that he gets a nice bow.
Okay,
It's the nicest bow in the world.
sure.
Yeah.
So it's
See, so-
level 6 arrows and level 6 quiver, level 6 bow.
Level 4, he said, right? Didn't you say
No,
level
I
4?
mean for will.
So it's
Oh,
level
Or
6.
will.
Yeah, 6 and 6.
Okay.
Okay.
Question.
Yeah.
Like, is it gonna be like magical arrows, or can't you tell us yet?
I mean, you haven't made it.
Okay.
I'm
You
not
want a little
planning on
fire?
being like a dick and be like, yeah, you made
I
a
know,
bow and a quiver and there are no arrows. Ha ha!
Exactly.
Can't use it.
It's a really good bow.
You got oboe, but you have 0 attack speed.
Yeah. You put a regular arrow in it, but it lights on fire and disintegrates.
Exactly.
God.
The bow automatically lights the arrow on fire, and it's
Wouldn't it
destroyed
be
before it's
cool?
even shot.
Wouldn't it be cool though if it was the other way around? Whatever arrows you put in that quiver get magical sort of like abilities?
That's
Anyway.
what I'm hoping
Yeah.
for. Do you want a little fire on your quiver or on your bow?
I guess on the bow, on like the ends of it. Like the bow
Alright.
part or whatever. The ends.
Yeah.
So I can stab people with it.
Mm.
Okay. I was actually gonna go for fire arrows, but sure, let's go with that.
No.
I'm gonna use a level 5 again because I'm running low, and put it like on the sort of try to infuse the tips of it with fire. If that makes any sense.
Sure. Yeah. Okay, and so you guys do all this, and you can sort of see it hovering in the air. It's not quite clear, but there is a bow with a string made of shadow. The tips are like burning flames, and the quiver is made entirely of lightning.
Okay.
You might want to pick it up.
It's
Yeah,
not made.
Pick that up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What's missing?
The circle is not doing anything.
I'm very happy.
Henry, I need your help.
Henry plus.
I guess,
So-
like, do you actually call for Henry?
I
Yeah.
guess. I mean, there's not.
I'm very sad right now.
All right, like
I
a
run for
green
him.
streak like flies out of the workshop and coils at the ground, and like
Becomes
Henry is there. Yeah. And he's like, "Yes, you called."
Are we missing something here? And then I point towards our little waiting to be contraption in the center of his circle.
He squints and says, "Well, you've got the. Did you turn it on?"
How do we turn it on?
Charge the circle.
Oh. All right. Do you want me to, or do you want to do
Well,
it
you're
yourself?
already channeling to make the tips
Yeah.
of the
Oh,
arrow.
right.
Three of us are already channeling. Rit.
Ram,
Yes.
give us some power.
All I've got is hyper focus. I'm not sure how it can be like a
Focus on the
Change it.
circle.
focus on the center. All right. My veins are popping. I'm focusing right now.
All right. I mean, yeah. So, what level is your hyperfocus? It's like 5, right?
It's 5, yeah.
All right. You focus your gaze on the center of the circle, and the point you're looking at, like you start to see the individual grains of dirt, the fine lines of the circle, and you begin to create an understanding of the way that this works. You evaluate every curve and turn of the circle and begin to sort of learn the language that is written in the dirt. And that circle, nothing visible happens to anyone else. They just sort of see like Rem looking really intensely and like squinting a little bit.
What is he doing?
But the bow and the quiver in the center is vibrating, and it eventually just sort of bursts, and on the ground is a bow with a sort of wooden bow with tips of fire, not fire, but like copper tips that are sharp. A thin string, almost of horsehair, and a leather quiver that is embossed with storm clouds.
So I know why, like I know what I did and why it worked, right? Or
You don't when you stop focusing.
okay,
You just sort of know that, like, if you think about it, you can understand it, but you have to focus on it.
guys, look what I made.
Huh. All you, man.
Only, I'm not too sure how I did that, but here you go. And
Emily,
since
do
it's,
you want anything? Sorry.
it's level 5, so I'm able to use it again without like much.
Yeah, that didn't cost you any well.
Okay. I don't really need anything. I mean, I've got shade whips. Maybe I could like upgrade those to an extent, but I don't want to like have to exhaust anybody's powers or. I think I'm
Me
fine
and
with
Olivia
it.
can use a lot of power, like for free, so to speak.
Mhm.
Except for me. Everyone but me, really. Can
Mhm.
do whatever they want.
You can add a little bit of power for free.
I know. A little tiny. A little smidge.
Just
I
a
don't
tip.
know. I don't think I. I don't think I really.
That's it.
I'm in need of anything. I mean,
Alright,
of course, I
Olivia?
can, like, give myself some armor, but
I think to myself, and I realize I have really no combat skills, but I think to myself that a pair of bracers would be nice because you did say that it focuses energy and it makes it stronger.
Mhm.
So I would like either a pair of bracers or a pair of very nice gloves, but the bracers sound nicer, so I'm going to make myself a pair of bracers.
That would
Sure.
actually have been clever from me, actually, to make some gloves. Now that I think about it. Oh well.
Firebox and gloves.
You create the form of bracers in the circle. Are you spending any will?
I am spending 1 extra will for my bracers because I want them to be very beautiful and very useful.
Okay, so if you actually look at the spear, you realize that, like, the engravings and the shape of the spear that you intended to happen didn't actually happen. Like,
Alright.
that the haft was imperfect.
I will still hope for it.
Okay.
A level 6 magic though would be useful for. I mean, I don't know. I just remembered thinking that in the first Marvel we put more effort or more
Mhm.
effort. We put more magic into the first Marvel, and it was more manageable, and it wasn't like as exerting to like
Mhm.
hold it or anything.
Mhm.
And I just thought to myself, yeah, I'll do level 6 magic on that.
Okay. Yeah, you create the shape of the bracers in the air.
Do you want anything from me, basically? Do you want
I don't know. I don't know how. I don't think my shadow magic can interact with anything. I would like a trigger for the circle though.
I mean, if you want, I could give you a little bit of like earth so they have some defense to them.
That would be nice. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I'll be nice. I'll even use 1 will, so it's level 3.
Thank you.
So-
You guys helped me get my bow.
Are you
guys
hitting
made me
me?
happy.
I'll set it on with a level 4, I guess? What? Or
Okay.
level 5. See
Sure.
does it see if it makes a difference if I use 1 will and see if it makes a difference. It makes a better set of bracers.
Do you put him to level 6 then?
I have level 4 pyro, so
Oh,
I'll
you
put
have
it
level 4.
5.
Okay, yeah, so you set it to level 5. Alright, so I guess in the center are bracers made of shadow, engraved with earthen runes. Above them is an orb of fire, which charges the circle. The bracers shimmer and pop, and on the ground are 2 bracers.
All right. I excitedly go and pick them up.
They're
Sort
cold
of
to the
smile
touch.
to myself. They're cold to the touch. Well, that's okay since it's my shadow magic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, in putting them
Is it
on,
not
like,
manageable?
you're I guess you just sort of naturally, like, create like bands of shadow between your skin and the bracers. Like, you just notice that you're doing that.
Okay. All right. Right. I suddenly feel better with these bracers on. So are you sure you don't want anything, Rem?
Yeah, I don't think
It's
I
not a
need
combat.
anything. Maybe a shirt because I'm out of shirt. But yeah, I'm not really a combat. And unless, is there anything I could make? Any ideas to like help increase my hyper focus? But I don't.
Truth be told, I'm still very foggy on what your estate does, what hyper focus means.
Basically, I'm just able to focus on things really well and like solve problems through that. So it's not too. It's useful if I'm like in a fight, but in general, I'm a very frail character, very weak. But kind of more using like my knowledge of things around me with the help of my hyper focus to solve the problem. So I'm not really a combat-ish kind of person. More just help us get out of like sticky situations or find somebody. Anything, really the hyper focus is useful for. It's kind of like doing what was the comparison we used, Kret? It's like just being able to focus on something. Really
Yeah,
well.
I mean, it's completely dedicating all of your senses to a single thing.
I'm guessing it'd be a little bit like the Matrix, where everything just sort of stops and you can.
Yeah.
Make everything out around.
Henry just sort of like slowly walks over to Dio and like gently taps him on the side.
Yes, Henry.
He points at your spear and says, "You know that's gonna break, right?"
Now I do. Any suggestions?
I could fix it for you.
I hand him over the spear. Please do.
He like takes it. He holds the spear in his left hand. He takes his right hand and he like punches you in the stomach really quick, and then like just puts his hand immediately on the spear. You feel drained. You suffer a light wound, and you lose 4 points of will. But the haft of the spear is now like covered in like copper engravings.
I'm betting you need to do that.
He hands it back to you.
Yeah, thanks.
I sure
Good
hope
math.
for Henry's sake it's gonna be worth it.
Yeah, I understood what he did. And I understand that he's sort of socially retarded, so to speak. Like, so I let it pass because he's actually helping us.
He's very helpful.
Yeah.
And he whispers to Illyrian, he's like, you're not going to be able to do magic with those.
All right.
You see, and he sort of points at your wrist and he's like, you see that shadow right there? That's a spell. And you're not going to be able to do another spell while using that spell.
Okay. I haven't figured out what kind of spell it is though.
Hey, Henry. You should fix it for her. My character is a douchebag. For those that have forgotten, it's a reminder.
I give Dio sort of a dirty look, and then I sort of like, well, I look at Henry and I give him like not these puppy eyes, but sort of this like desolate look, like help me understand this.
He says, I guess he just sort of looks at you and he says, this is a machine powered by human will. Mortal will.
Alright.
Now.
So, okay, now I have to figure out what my bracers can do, basically, because I don't know what kind of capabilities they have.
Sorry, did you say the bracers are a machine powered by
No,
human will?
the circle.
The circle. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what you're saying, Henry, is what she willed while she was making it affected what it does.
No.
Okay.
I'm saying they're imperfect.
What's the
Can
flaw
you-
with mine?
No, yours is fine. Good job.
Oh, okay. That's because we put
Alright.
all the points into mine.
Can we
Well-
fix hers?
Henry just looks around and like looks at Rem.
Your turn, buddy.
Look at my bracers.
Look at your braces, alright, so I'll start to focus really hard. And there aren't any engravings, right, on these ones?
No, there are. There are like runes carved in, or not really carved, but sort of like drawn in uh, a brown ruddy residue, sort of like charcoal.
Am I able to make a connection with these engravings with anything else I've seen in the past? Let's say like
No, there's not. They're not something that you've seen in the past. They just sort of seem to. You understand that they're powerful, and that they have a purpose, but you're not sure what that purpose is. And as you're,
Henry isn't either, right? Or
well, you're just focusing on the bracers right now, so you're not really paying attention to anything else. But everyone else would notice that as Rem is looking at the bracers, Henry is looking at Rem.
I'm sort of whispering to Henry. He volunteers as tribute. Go on.
oh god, what am I in for?
And Henry just sort of like squints, and Rem, your head just goes like funny, and then like all of a sudden, you sort of like metaphorically get hit over the head by a 2x4, and you have a splitting headache.
Wow.
You take a
Okay,
surface
so I'm not
wound
able to. All
Theo
right.
is now laughing,
called
leaning
splitting
on his spear.
headache. But Illyria's bracers are the shadow magic that was separating them from her skin dissipates, and they fit really nicely now.
All right, so I have no clue what I did. All I know is I have a splitting headache. Maybe Henry had something to do with it. But
Yeah, you just donated power, from my understanding.
Oh
Okay.
yeah, you also have 4 less points of will.
okay.
I know I shouldn't say this, but so do I. Don't I?
Oh
Or
yeah,
did
you
you
do.
already deduct mine?
No, I didn't. Damn. All right. Henry like dusts his hands off and goes, "Okay. Well, anything else I can do for you?"
Where are we?
My chancel.
You already said that, yeah.
Yeah.
We're not in the real world, basically.
Did we get that?
Earlier when Rem used his focus magic to activate the circle, you said something about him understanding what the symbols meant in the circle.
Mm-hmm.
But he forgot about it afterwards.
Oh, he forgot about it completely?
Yeah, he doesn't have a conscious understanding of it anymore.
Mm-hmm. It was just something I was able to do while I was really focused.
Alright.
Feels bad, man.
So tell us more about your chancel, Henry.
Well, this is where I live and work. You know, it's a place for invention and innovation. Place for learning.
What's your favorite invention, Henry? I'm completely going off track. I'm curious now.
He just sort of like scratches his chin, and he says, "The shoehorn."
Shoehorn?
Yeah, that's a good one.
That is a good one. How does time work here? Like, all the time we spent here, has it passed in the real world, so to speak?
Well, yes, yeah, of course.
Oh.
I'm
So we
not.
can't go back
I'm
to the
not
fight.
the noble or not the imperator of time.
No, of course not. That would be ridiculous.
Yeah, that would be silly.
He's
a jerk.
Yeah. Of course he is.
And you're not.
No, of course I'm not.
No, he's not a jerk.
I
Are you
would
kidding?
I love him. He said my bow was perfect. I love
Exactly.
him.
I mean, he's a polite liar, but yeah.
Would you like to leave?
Yes, do you have any more information for us, by the way, about what's his name?
Mortimer.
Mortimer.
Mortimer Reed. Yeah.
What you did here, he's done in the mortal world.
Create weapons.
Something like that.
Is that what that bracer was?
Something like that.
I am guessing he used humans instead of shadow magic.
Something like that.
Something like that.
Which means, would it mean that the person we fought before that could sap magic could either be sacrificed from the police officer that was sort of a Negatron, whatever the name is?
Something like that.
Are you just gonna keep saying something like that, Henry?
No.
Can you
If we keep asking the right questions.
exactly? Can
This
you?
makes us nervous about our old friend, Jacob.
Yeah, I think Jacob is done for. I don't mean to be a bastard, but we've taken too long to help him.
I've never even met Jacob, so I have no.
Rip and peps, Jacob.
Now I'm more about making sure they pay for it, and they will.
I mean, we have our OP weapons now, so.
At least I wouldn't say that they make us that much stronger than them. I say this finally gives us a fighting chance,
Mhm.
probably.
Pretty much. Although, oh man,
What?
I like my character, like while this whole discussion is going on, sort of like thinks to herself how the possibilities of gear are endless, but we don't have a lot of will, and she's very reluctant to do anything about it, but she's getting very greedy. She's getting greedy thoughts about gear.
Yeah, relax, girl.
Henry
You
just
can
rubs his
come
hands
shoe
together.
shopping later.
Henry, if we leave, would you let us come back if we asked nicely?
Yes. Of course.
Does it get lonely
Thank you,
here?
Henry.
No, I have my work to keep me company. Would you like me to show you the door?
Yes, please.
Thank you.
He points over the lake and says, "Jump in the lake all at once."
Okay.
Okay.
I mean, I already have my shirt off, so may as well.
Well, after you guys.
No, all at once.
All at once.
Yeah, at the same
I
time.
know.
You
Shall
have
we
to come
hold
with us.
hands? Dio, I know you really like Henry now, but you can't stay.
I know he
Not
hit a
what I
guy
was
in the
going
head.
for, but go ahead. Alright, so
Alright.
guess we
On
can time
three?
our jump. Yeah.
Yeah.
3.
2,
3.
3.
On
Let's
Z-
go.
Yeah, 3. Let's go. Woo.
All right,
No
you
jumping
jump in the lake. You land in the water. You're very wet, and you sort of like look up and you look back and you still see Henry. It's still the same place, and he's just sort of giggling to himself.
Oh my god.
He walks back inside the workshop, closes the door.
And we just sit there underwater.
You're
like-
sitting in shallow lake water. Yeah.
That's the door. Just get up and walk up to the.
You get
to the
up
shed
and,
door.
and the moment your foot steps on dry land, you just crumple over and you're out.
Howdy 100.
All right. What do we see when we look around?
Well, I mean, I'm assuming everyone gets out of the lake, or is everyone standing in the lake noticing that Dio has gone unconscious at the shore?
Am I still in the same place? Like in the.
Yeah, you're unconscious on the shore.
Oh. Lovely.
Let's
Like,
all
you
join
put your
hands.
foot on the shore, and you just go...
Of course I did.
I'm not
I'm
gonna lie.
unconscious.
Kind of satisfied. Let's follow him.
I believe you.
I guess Illyria once again sets foot on the shore and just hits the ground, passes out, gone, out. Rem and
Well-
Albatross are just sitting in the lake, I guess.
Just
So,
Where's our mentalist man?
I guess I'll walk on.
You hit the shore and bam, out.
it's like lemmings.
All at once, though.
And Rem is just sitting in the lake.
Okay, fine. I guess I'll go.
Alright, you hit the shore, you're out. We're gonna go to a short break. We'll be back in 5 minutes.
Please.